Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Computomics podcast. This is our last episode for 2020, and it's been such a pleasure being able to do the podcast, being able to hear from our wonderful guests and collaborators, and to contribute to the global community of thought out there. We're so grateful to our audience, and this week we will be concluding the year with our managing director, Sebastian, talking about a few of the challenges we've had in 2020 and looking forward to 2021. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and we hope to see you back with us in 2021. So Sebastian, welcome to the episode.
Thank you.
Maybe since you were also our first episode as we started this podcast, it's very fitting that you're also our end of the year podcast. And in some ways, I can't believe that the year's already wrapping up. I remember when you and I first began recording, I believe it was in March, and here we are in December. So maybe you can give our audience a little bit of information about how Computomics has done this year, some of the lessons that we've learned, and maybe some of the things that we have taken away from 2020.
Yeah, great. Certainly it's for everybody this year. It's been an unusual year in one way or another. And the same is, of course, true for Computomics. We have seen how quickly things can change from us regularly visiting clients to no longer traveling, and how quickly things can change on also a national and international level, from different measures being taken very quickly. And I think what this year has shown me is that science and scientific methods are often needed to bail us out of what kinds of difficulties life on this planet is creating for us sometimes, and that we have to, I think, do a good job of communicating science and making sure that people trust it, so that we can go to normalizing things, to making sure that the way that we like to interact with each other is once again possible with the help of scientific advances.
So in a sense, you're saying that even if science feels like we have the answer or the potential answer or a step towards the answer, unless it is accepted and trusted and welcomed by the people to whom we have to communicate it, it won't serve a purpose. So do you mean to say that the communication and sort of the ability to translate it into something people can understand is just as integral as the science itself?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really help anyone if you're able to make a discovery by yourself at home, and then no one sees the benefits or believes the outcome, and therefore it just doesn't get implemented. So we need to effectively communicate advances and achievements, and people need to be at least willing to give them a try and make sure that they can trust what you have reported, because you've done it in a way that is verifiable, and be able to really make use of these advances and build upon them for their own advances or their own products or own well-being that they would like to achieve with the help of this discovery.
And how do you think we were able to, at the beginning when we first launched some of our products, how do you think we were able to bridge that gap when nobody else was talking about this kind of technology that we use, or about machine learning, or about breeding predictions? How could we bridge that gap, and what is there to learn from those experiences?
I think we've been very lucky with some of our clients. We've had several client relationships mature this year. Several of our long-term clients who we have worked with on phenotype prediction, on helping them with their breeding programs, have signed up for longer-term deals for these kinds of partnerships that we are currently offering to companies. And that was because they were able to see, let's say, on their own fields, with their own field trials, that the predictions we are making are helpful to them, that the kinds of results that we have envisioned are actually then tangible on their fields, that the kinds of yields and the kinds of hybrids or crosses that we're suggesting really made it into their breeding programs and gave them the advances that they were looking for.
And in a way that makes sense, right? So as a very intuitive and rational people, breeders, it makes sense that they would want to see the outcome or the results of these predictions before they enter into long-term partnerships, of course. But what is a way that you envision, for example, for the years to come, for us to communicate this in a way that already feels more tangible, and for other startups who are maybe involved in high-tech sector or maybe in a digital data analytics product that's complex, maybe based on AI or machine learning? How do we make that feel concrete and tangible for clients so that it's not always a multi-year path to partnership?
One of the important things there is making sure that the technology itself is something that people feel comfortable with, that they understand to the degree that they want to get involved in it. The kinds of things that we are able to showcase are certainly limited at the moment, because many of the larger field trials, of course, take a lot of time and space and also investment to simply do at home and then showcase. So that is certainly a challenge to have something that is tangible enough and convincing enough for new clients to look at and say, oh, this is really an advance over previous methods, and I'm happy to give it a try. So what we have started this year is apply for some larger scale grants, for some support for building on existing technologies to get to, let's say, examples and showcase projects that we are able then to really talk about openly, that we can share detailed results with, and talk about the methods that we used in order to obtain the results. And with these kinds of grants that would fund these additional necessary research activities or confirmation activities for our technologies, we would then be able to have showcase projects in hand that we can share with interested parties, that can be scrutinized, and much like other scientific discoveries are being peer reviewed and understood by others to be an actual advance and an actual improvement over existing methods. So participating in grants with other scientists, as well as starting, hopefully running our own projects with our own visions of, in these cases, maybe helping people that wouldn't be able to afford these kinds of technologies otherwise, or creating these kinds of showcases that advance our own marketing and market presence. That's what we have started this year, and that hopefully will start to implement next year in 2021, with some of these grants successfully being awarded to us.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, it makes me think of a commercial I just heard for electric cars here in the US. I don't know the automaker, but the conclusion was electric cars, they're normal now. And I just imagine that at some point they're going to say machine learning based predictions, they're normal now, you know, like for breeders. And it's that normalization process, and which also feels like a tangibility process for clients, that I think is so important to sort of make it feel like something that they can have control over in their mind. Because oftentimes I think technology feels like something that can run away from you, especially if you're someone who's very busy in the field. Then the technology itself feels like it's something that you won't understand and is just going to essentially force you into a conclusion that you weren't comfortable making yourself. And it's that sense of control that I think that comes with this data-backed examples and sort of public dissemination of information, which I respect us for not sharing, because of course it's our paying clients' private data, but would love to have as well to showcase and to sort of explain to people how they would have control over this data themselves and over this technology themselves, and how that would really integrate into, in fact, them having more control over their whole breeding process, I guess. Do you see it the same way?
Yeah, I think technology, maybe much like electric cars, when they first come out, people are a bit reluctant to try it and say, does this really work? Am I going to be able to get to all the places that I wanted to go? And it's maybe not something that you want to put a large investment into just to figure out, oh, maybe it wasn't such a good time to invest in this already. But that's what we are here for. We believe in our technology and its benefits that it brings, and also in the advances that we will be able to make with it once you are able to make full use of all of the benefits that it brings, including the interpretability to potentially identify directly which genes are involved in certain metabolic pathways that are quite difficult to maybe elucidate without the ability to have these higher order correlations, these nonlinear interactions that you see with the environment and the genotypes. So understanding these kinds of relationships might in the future be something that breeders really want to do, and we're certainly here to enable that, but also just show them these initial benefits that the technology can bring. And I think it's natural for people to say, if I have a running system, I don't think there is any need for me to adapt that or change that. But as soon as more and more people are using the technology and telling you about the kinds of benefits that you're going to see, I think we're also going to have more people that are willing to give it a try and to see where it leads them, and making sure that they get that chance and get the opportunity to maybe identify the kinds of additional benefits that come with it, are sort of the goal also for these grants that we have applied to, so we can really showcase some of the more advanced features of these technologies that we're implementing.
And maybe on the same topic, as a final question or as a sort of final look into 2021, I think what goes really well into this discussion and what we've been talking a lot about internally is the concept of these preparatory consultancy ideas or packages that we offer our clients. So for those who are not necessarily feel like they're ready to trade in their diesel or gas car for an electric car, or let's say their current technology, or maybe they don't have enough data, to really work with them to establish the infrastructure that can lead them into this territory in the future. Is that something that you think goes along the same path of sort of giving people control and an understanding of what's to come?
Yeah, so we are offering these kinds of consultant packages where we take a look at what kinds of data would have to be generated, what kinds of maybe additional crosses or tests you would have to put into the field in order to make maximum use of the benefits of machine learning-based predictions. And I think that's a great way for people to, first of all, get an assessment how ready they are for these technologies, but also make sure that once they're ready to make that jump, that they're prepared for the kinds of things that they would like to do. For example, staying with the electric car, if you're now building a new house and you're building a garage, why not put in like a larger power source, maybe a plug that is able to then charge your car in the future if you decide then to change it. So looking at the kinds of processes that you have in place, at the kinds of data that you're already generating, why not make sure to get sort of an assessment and maybe some tips about what to improve to make sure that it's compatible with the kinds of technologies that will be probably part of the future breeding efforts, as well as with other types of analyses that we support, for example, also on the metagenomics side, to, for example, take whole genome metagenomics instead of just 16S data sets, and make these kinds of changes now in order to be prepared for the data that and the analyses that you are probably going to want to make in the future. So I think we're really grateful for all of the support that we've received from several of our customers this year to award us with these multi-year partnerships that we are going to fulfill and probably exceed their expectations over the coming years that they're supporting us with. And those are the people for which and thanks to which we're able to do all of these things.
Yeah, I know that we really hold our customers close in our minds, and we're always very grateful. We really enjoy the partnership and the collaboration, and I think that we've had it be very successful and fruitful and enjoyable on both sides. And so from that perspective, I think that is great that from such a strange year, also wonderfully strange things have happened. And I hope that next year really takes us the next step and really gives us the opportunity to bring our technology to light and really make it feel more tangible and approachable for people, which is also sort of the goal of this podcast, to make people give them an opportunity or some insight into what we talk about and what we do on a daily basis, and how committed we are to the field and to the possibilities within what we do. So thank you, Sebastian, for a great year, and thanks to our audience for supporting us this year. And if there's anything else you'd like to say, then you're welcome.
Thank you. So it's been a very exciting year, I think. Of course, there are many tragedies that took place, and many things that probably everyone wished wouldn't have happened or happened differently. But then any kind of change is an opportunity to look at how you're doing things today and maybe how to improve them in the future, and to really improve your own strategies and approaches so that you can make the best use of new technologies and new scientific discoveries that have come about. So thanks to everyone who's supported us, and we welcome the chance to convince everyone else.
So thank you, everyone, for listening to our end of the year podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. We want to thank all of our customers. We want to thank all of our partners, our collaborators, everyone who is in the field contributing to a more sustainable way of working in the world, a better way of managing our food systems, our agriculture, of bringing technology and biology together. We hope everybody has a great end of the year, and that 2021 is amazing for everyone. Thank you again, and we'll see you next year.